G'day guys, and welcome back to the final episode in the Medellin Neighborhood Guide series. If you haven't seen the other episodes yet, they're linked in the description of this video. So far I've done a combination video explaining the pros and cons of Laureles, Poblado, and Envigado. I've also done standalone videos for Laureles and Poblado. That means the only neighborhood remaining to do a full feature-length video on is Envigado, and that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. Alright guys, here is the map. So we'll zoom in here. This area is the main district where most of you will arrive if you're first time visitors, right? You got Provenza here, you got Manila here, you got Calle Diaz here. This is the main tourist district. So if we go down this road, down, then we get to Envigado. So Envigado, this is the border of Poblado, and down here, this whole area from here to here is Envigado. So if we put in the map, we can actually have a look how far it takes now. So if we go Provenza to Envigado, right now it's a 5 p.m. bang on peak hour. And from the center of Envigado to Provenza, it's going to take you about half an hour to get there. So now that you guys know exactly where Envigado is, let's dive straight in with pro number one, which is safety. For someone who wants a really safe place to stay, Envigado often ranks as one of the safest places in this region. There's a couple of reasons for that. I don't really know the truth of this first one, but I've heard it over and over again from locals. And that is the fact that there is a big gang called La Oficina. In English, translates to the office. No, Michael Scott is not the head of this gang. But La Oficina, what they do is keep the area under control. I imagine they probably have some business going on in this region and they don't want too much, I guess, attention coming upon their neighborhood. They try and keep it pretty clean, and anyone that commits a crime or something, usually they're dealt with pretty quickly within the community. So here's a story that my wife told me, and she said this is one of the craziest things that she's ever experienced in her life. When she was in Envigado, she used to live there maybe for 6 months or something during the pandemic. A person who lived near her apartment, and this person got their motorbike stolen. And she said she's never seen a coordination of this speed. As soon as he told someone, like a shop owner, he told someone, and within 5 minutes, that motorbike was returned to his house. So they really have some kind of process going there that protects the community, which makes it much safer, I would say, than some other areas. You've seen a lot of my videos. I generally don't think that Medellin is unsafe at all, unless you are an idiot and you're doing dumb stuff. Even that being said, Envigado is even more safe than the other areas. Now, pro number two. If you like fresh air and peace and quiet and a cooler climate, Envigado is definitely the place to be. I found this air freshness kind of map a while ago, and it showed, where the most contamination is, and the cleanest air in this general area was in Envigado. And you can really notice it. Go there, spend a few days, walk around, and you're going to see the difference between somewhere like there and somewhere like Laureles. So Laureles sits in the bottom of a bowl. You get a lot of cars going through daily, so much smog, so much, traffic, and they don't have regulations like in California. I know in California you have like a smog test you have to pass so that you don't damage the environment. They don't have any of that testing here. Many of the cars you see probably shouldn't even be on the road. So all that being said, some areas like Laureles are very contaminated in some spots. And if you're sensitive to that, you're going to feel it. But Envigado, on the other hand, has really nice quality of air. And also because it's more further up the mountain, right? And because it's further up the mountain, something else that you'll get is a cooler climate. Laureles, El Centro, places that are kind of flat and at the bottom of the valley, usually a few degrees hotter. For example, let's call it 30 degrees Celsius in Laureles. You might get temperatures there in Envigado of like 25, 24. So if you're someone who doesn't like it that hot, then Envigado could also be a great place for you. And before we get to the next pro, guys, I just want to let you know, if you're visiting Colombia or you're living here and you want to try and get a visa, one thing you need to get is travel insurance. And the travel insurance that I've always used is Safety Wing. Stacked up against the other competitors in the market right now, they are the most affordable, and also they're the only one that has zero deductible. So whenever you make a claim, you don't pay any extra. So I really highly recommend it. If you want to get a quick quote in under 30 seconds, just click the link in the description. The third, and probably one of the biggest reasons why you might consider living in Envigado, is that it's much, much cheaper than areas like Poblado. I'm going to jump into Airbnb and show you exactly what you can get. I found a couple of places for under $1,000. So I'm going to show you what you can get in Envigado versus what you can get in Poblado. This is an apartment that I found, and this is one of the best options, or one of the only options actually, that was under $1,000. So let's put in the dates, September 1 to October 1. This one is $882 per month. This is in Manila. If you've watched my videos before, you know that Manila is a really nice place. And the first place I recommend any person who's never been to Colombia and hasn't traveled that much to go to, because it's very accessible, very easy. It has everything there within walking distance. But let's look at this place. It's only one bedroom. That's the little kitchen. Here is the bed. And that's the bathroom. So it's a studio, meaning everything is in the same room, right? So these are just some photos of the location, but more or less, here's the floor plan. There's the bed, there's the kitchen, there's the bathroom. Done. That's the whole thing. $882 a month on Airbnb. Now let's jump over and take a look at what we can get for that same budget, $1,000 a month in Envigado. All right, so this one I found in Envigado for the same dates is $934 a month, and this one's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Let's check it out and see what this one looks like. So you've got a nice big living room. You got even a little dining table there. You have the kitchen in the back. You have a 1-bedroom. You have another bedroom, and you have a little patio at the back too. And you got even a little balcony. For people on a budget, you can already see that just with $1,000 on Airbnb, how different the options are. Although this is not the most flashy, greatest place with the best view, it's still much better than what you can get in Poblado. That's not the only thing that's going to be cheaper in Envigado. Everything else there is going to be cheaper too. If you go to a restaurant or something and you buy a meal, often in Poblado, the prices now are completely crazy. You're paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 for some pretty simple food that's not really that tasty at the end of the day. You can probably get the same quality of thing for half the price in Envigado. Now that cost of living is out of the way, let's go to pro number 4. And this is also a very big one. I've heard a lot of people who are die-hard Envigado fans say that this is their biggest reason why they love living there. And it's because it has a much, much, much more authentic vibe than some of the other areas you're going to find. Laureles is probably even, but Poblado sometimes can just feel like a little bit of a gringo land, depending on where you are. Doesn't really have that much culture or anything there. And sometimes you can really feel that you're not really in Colombia. But in Envigado, when you go out there, you'll see when you go, you'll be like, okay, I'm definitely not in Kansas anymore. This is definitely a different country. And for people that like that culture shock, people that want to be immersed in local culture, want to have all their friends as Colombians, want to be speaking Spanish every day, and really want to have the experience of being in Colombia, then Envigado is really, really going to give you that, as opposed to other areas which are more just catered towards short-term tourists. And the final pro, number 5, is that Envigado is an amazing place for nature lovers. If you look up any of the hikes or, you know, the natural reserves, they're all in Envigado. So if you're a nature lover, that would be my final pro when it comes to living or visiting Envigado. Now, not everything is great in life. When there's good things, there also has to be bad things. So now we're done with the pros. Let's talk about the cons. And con number 1 is actually not a con for me at all, because I don't care about this shit, but you might care about it, so I'm going to tell you about it. Nightlife, in terms of clubbing and social scene, like going out every night kind of thing. If you're a party person, probably not going to like Envigado, because it doesn't have the range of bars and nightclubs and things like that like Poblado does. So you might find yourself a little bit bored there. So I would say Envigado is a bit more for someone who's a bit more laid back. As I said before, the nature lover, the one who wants to immerse in local culture. But if you're coming for a short vacation, you just want to party like a rock star for 3 days and go home, probably not going to be the best place for you to stay. Envigado can also be bad for those type of people who want to be in Medellin, but want to be only part of the gringo scene. All their friends are gringos. They only go to gringo events. They've been here like 15 years, don't even speak a word of Spanish. They basically just want to live here to have lower cost of living, I guess. But at the same time, they just want to keep their same American lifestyle, American friends, American traditions, cultures, but have it in Medellin. If you're someone like that, this is probably not going to be a good place for you as well, because all the gringo events are 99%, I would say, maybe 95%, Laureles is growing a bit these days, but 95% of them will be in Poblado. Provenza, Manila, probably those two areas have 95% of the gringo events. So if you like to go to those gringo events every single day, you're going to be traveling a long way from Envigado. You're not going to like it. So better just stay over there if you want to be in the gringo land, because yeah, Envigado is not going to be that enjoyable for you. Next one is someone who doesn't speak any Spanish. As I said before, it's a very traditional place. Most people there are not going to speak even one word of English. When I came to Colombia first, this was a really big pro for me actually. I wanted to integrate and not speak English at all. So I didn't hang out with anyone who spoke English. I just wanted to be in Spanish mode for like the first 3 months that I was here. That actually helped me learn very, very, very fast. I just went from like basically flatlining for a long time to just hitting the boost button, because I was just integrating and I was just engrossed in that culture and that language all the time. That being said, Envigado would be an awesome place for someone like me who wants to do that. But someone who just wants to visit for a few days, wants everything easy and just have like an easy Colombia light version, Envigado is also not going to be that good of an option for you. Maybe also consider staying in Provenza. Finally, this is one that you might not think about, because some people might just say, oh, you know, you said it's only 15-20 minutes away, so I'm just going to stay in Envigado and just Uber to Provenza, because, you know, I'll take advantage of the lower cost of living, but then I can just Uber. But this is something that you need to think about as well if you live in Envigado, is that especially in some of these places, maybe if you're in the center of Envigado, it's not that bad, but if you, some of the places and really nice apartment buildings with amazing views, you need to go through some pretty winding roads to get there, right? A lot of times I've been there showing apartments with clients and I'm calling an Uber and it's 25 minutes to get there. Super frustrating and super irritating. Whereas now where I live in Laureles, it's right in the next to one of the main roads. So anytime I call an Uber, it comes in like less than 2 minutes. So that can also be pretty frustrating. You're kind of isolated depending on where you are in Envigado, and it can take time to actually get out of there because the Ubers take time to go through all these winding roads and they're like a little bit harder to access. And because it's harder to access as well, food delivery is going to take longer to come as well, and you're going to have less options. So if you're someone who orders every single meal, and I know you guys are out there, I've spoken to you people before, you don't know how to cook and you order every single meal from delivery, which is fine. But if you're someone like that, maybe if you're out somewhere in the mountains of Envigado, it's going to be frustrating because you're not going to have many options, and those options are going to take so long, and then the food is going to be cold and you're going to be mad.